WWE may have big plans in store for Rhea Ripley, and in this video I'm going to tell you exactly what those plans are and why they're so significant. Because Rhea Ripley, well, she has been in a top program with Liv Morgan going back to after WrestleMania 40, where she was successfully retaining the championship over Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, then going into a feud with Liv Morgan, right? Unfortunately, though, although some would say that it was fortunate how things turned out, Rhea Ripley was injured in a backstage segment with Liv Morgan. You know that. You've seen that. She was injured. She vacated the Women's World Championship, and Morgan went on to defeat Becky Lynch to win the vacant Women's World Championship at the King and Queen of the Ring PLE. At SummerSlam, Morgan went over Ripley in a grudge match to retain the title with the help of Dominik Mysterio. This is key because Dominik Mysterio, he turned on Rhea. He played Rhea and thinking that he was going to be on her side. That was not the case. So they ran it back at Bash in Berlin. Morgan and Mysterio, well, they worked a mixed tag team match against Ripley and Damian Priest. And it was Rhea and it was Damian getting the win. Then we got the Bad Blood match. It was Ripley getting a DQ win over Morgan thanks to Raquel Rodriguez's attack. Ugh, how could they do that? Dominik Mysterio is very important in this feud. He has been the bridge gap because you have to keep in mind, Dominik Mysterio was at the side of Rhea Ripley for so long as members of the Judgment Day. But it wasn't until Rhea Ripley went away due to injury that they had to not only build up Liv as a dominant heel and a dominant champion and a real threat to Rhea, they also had to build her up to the point where you wanted to see her get just absolutely her butt kicked by Rhea Ripley, getting her revenge because Ripley had been turned by the fan base as a babyface. And so Dominik Mysterio being one of the most hated heels in the business, including WWE, well, you couldn't pair him with Rhea because then that would throw in mixed signals. You have one of the most over baby faces in Rhea, and you have one of the most hated heels in Dominik. How does that work? It doesn't. So you had to have him turn on Rhea because that is a play, right? Because Rhea was trying to get her ultimate revenge. She was trying to beat Liv, take back the title, and now she's trying to get her revenge on Dominik Mysterio, who has screwed her over. Now the deck is stacked against her. She has to deal with Liv, who has been booked as a dominant champion. She's been facing off with the always annoying Dominik Mysterio, who's always getting involved somehow, some way, and now she has to deal with this dominant force in Raquel Rodriguez, really stacking the deck. That leads us to today's video, because on WrestleVotes Radio, it was noted whether or not they are building towards an intergender match between Dominik Mysterio and Rhea Ripley. WrestleVotes noted that that is something that WWE Creative is interested in, and there has been talks on the lower end of doing that. However, you have an issue. Well, that issue is trying to get this match in before this feud is over, right? Because they've already worked 2 singles matches, 3 in total, if you want to count the mixed tag team match. We know that it's not going to have the 3rd and final bout at Crown Jewel, because Liv Morgan will be squaring off against women's champion Nia Jax for the Crown Jewel Championship, right? So you look at the deck and you go, okay, they could technically do it at Survivor Series. They could do it at Saturday Night's Main Event in December, maybe Royal Rumble. I can't see them making it last until WrestleMania. However, to bide some time, because the story is starting to get a little redundant on television, what if you do the intergender match at Saturday Night's Main Event, right? Or you could do it on Monday Night Raw between Rhea and Dominik. It's easy because you could just have Rhea go in there and just beat him up, and then you could have a few different ways you get out of the match without Dominik actually attacking Rhea, right? Because I can't see that happening. It's going to be a one-sided affair. You could just simply have Rhea just absolutely dominate him within a minute and beat him. You could have outside interference that causes a DQ, or what will likely happen, she beats up Dominik until Liv or Raquel, interfere, distract the referee, distracts Rhea, and Dominik gets a roll-up win. Or Rhea gets laid out by Liv or Raquel, and Dominik pins her. That's how I think that goes. I don't think this is a far-fetched idea whatsoever. You don't have to have man-on-woman violence. Not calling for it, I absolutely hate intergender matches. However, there are ways of getting around it. There are ways of doing that, and that is by having a one-sided beatdown where the man does not attack the woman. Okay? So I can absolutely see WWE doing this. I think it's a great idea because, A, it's not going to look bad. Dominik's not going to beat her up. 2, it adds another layer to this. 3, we ultimately get Rhea's revenge on Dominik. And number 4, it is another bridge gap to the trilogy bout between Rhea and Liv. If I had a crystal ball, and this is what I think is going to happen, I think we are going to have Rhea get involved in Liv's match at Crown Jewel. She's going to cost Nia Jax the championship, or technically, yes, the championship, the Crown Jewel championship, right? Then Survivor Series, I can see you having some sort of, because they always do women's war games, you could have Rhea and then Team Rhea and then Team Liv, because the Bloodline is going to be the War Games match for SmackDown. You need one for Raw. They usually don't do 2 men's. You always have a women's. I can see that happening. You'd have to add in a few different female talent to get that in, but you could do it, right? You only need 2 more. You only need 2 more for Liv and Raquel's team. You can get 2 heels. That's no problem. And then Rhea, you would have to, incorporate 3 baby faces. So I can see that happening. And then I think the ultimate payoff, if I have my crystal ball out, if I'm predicting something, I believe Saturday Night's main event in December, I think that's where you pay that off. Because we know reportedly Saturday Night's main events every quarter are now going to be PLEs. Instead of it being behind a $9.99 paywall with Peacock or $6.99 if you want to watch ads, you are now going to get it free on NBC every quarter, okay? That's why I believe we're going to get Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed WWE Championship on that show. You need a big match for Monday Night Raw. I can see CM Punk working that match, his first televised match in, 10 years or whatever it is. I see that happening. I think that will happen. We will see. But either way, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to follow along, see where they go with this feud, and ultimately pay off. But intergender match, Rhea Ripley, Dominik Mysterio, part of this program, yeah, sign me up because I am all for it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be something that is memorable, right? And you get an ultimate payoff. Let me know in the comments there below, do you think they will actually go through with plans of an intergender match?